How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if it's your first time. My name is Sam. I also go by RubyT Pokemon on the internet, and today it's a little special something for you. It is my channelversary. I've been doing YouTube stuff for 1 year, on and off. And it's, kind of crazy to think a year ago I started using my phone to film some hardcore Nuzlocke stuff from the Pokemon group I was in and talking to some people and end up putting on YouTube from my girlfriend's parents' house. And now, 450 something subscribers later, here we are. And I don't know, it's not a big deal to some people. Like, there are people out there with millions and millions of subscribers, but we've built a little community here and a little Discord. Join it if you're not in it, and it just feels really cool, and I just wanted to kind of celebrate it in some way. So that's what I'm doing today. If you haven't already subscribed, please consider it. It's really, really nice of you, and it really, really helps me. And leave a like and leave a comment and all that good stuff, because it helps to grow the channel. And the Heart Gold Nuzlocke round 2, the grass type one, is doing really well still. So people are still checking out that video and finding the channel from it, which is really awesome. So thanks for all your support. Anyway, back to the matter at hand. As many of you will know, during my short-lived time on Twitch during lockdown or quarantine, whatever you call it, from wherever you're from, I tried to complete Radical Red on hard mode with the Randomizer set and failed while doing it on Twitch. Now life is kind of back to normal and I have a lot less time to do Twitch and things like that. I've been trying in my spare time desperately to record and complete that Nuzlocke on hard mode on Randomizer, and it takes so long. Like, Radical Red playthrough without the randomizer on is really, really good and really, really enjoyable, and it's just an excellent game to Nuzlocke. But with the randomizer on, obviously there's a whole issue of randomness to deal with, and I've just been desperately trying to put together the perfect run to show you guys. And full disclosure, as yet, that has not happened. Nothing perfect. It's not been perfect, but in the spirit of the 1 year channelversary, I decided to put together the run which I just thought was the best. Now, full disclosure, not all of this is recorded, but most of it is. I do this in my spare time, like half an hour or an hour at a time, and so sometimes I forget to press record. It just happens. But I just really, really wanted to show you the little Nuzlocke that could. This was my attempt at Radical Red on Randomized, where I just did not get the best encounters. I did not get the best stuff. I did not have... it was not a classic, but for some reason and somehow it just kept on going, and it kept on going, and it kept on going. And I really, really want you guys to just see it, because I think you're going to like it, and it's good fun. If you don't know what a Nuzlocke is, and you don't know what a Hardcore Nuzlocke is, and you don't know what those rules are, I'll briefly talk about it now. But most of you should know by now what it is. Essentially, you can only catch the first Pokemon in each route or area. All Pokemon need to have a nickname. If Pokemon faints, it is dead. No items in battle. All the battles are on set mode. A lot of this is enforced in this game anyway. But yeah, those are the rules. And I hope you're going to enjoy it. So here you go. This is the little Nuzlocke that could. We begin our adventure by telling this old man our name and a little bit about where we live and things, because that's very safe. Before we leave our house, we make sure to press all the right buttons to set the game up like we want to for maximum misery, and we head over to Professor Oak's lab to not choose a love disc, to not choose a Numel, but to choose Michael. Michael here, the Pig Knight. Now, Michael is a very friendly Pig Knight, and he's a very happy Pig Knight, but he wants a friend, so he goes and catches a Shuppet called Pam. And they make some more friends. This is a perfect opportunity for me to tell you, I am not going to spend the whole time and going over every single Pokemon we catch. It's going to take too long. But we caught some Pokemon, they were good friends, and please let me know if you can guess the nickname and theme. Anyway, we battled our way through Viridian Forest, all the way up to Pewter City, where we took on Faulkner, and managed to take him out, which is really good, because I have lost this run here before. I have definitely lost it here before, and I've also lost it to Brock, who we didn't film. Not a great start to this Nuzlocke, but I promise it gets better. Anyway, we took on the stupid commander and made our way to Cerulean City, where we managed to take out our rival, Logic Meme. Told you I'd give you a shout out, you're very, very welcome. Anyway, it's time to take a very short break from the frantic start to finally watch a proper battle as we take on Misty. I lead with Pam into her Frogadier. Frogadier goes for an Ice Punch, which with the Oranberry means that Pam is able to survive on over half health and lands a Will-O-Wisp. Another Ice Punch lands and crits, but we're able to survive just. Thank God for that burn. Anyway, now Frogadier is at pretty low health and an Ice Punch doesn't do hardly anything to Michael. I switch from Michael into Andy, and the flip turn hits Andy and brings in the Floatzel on the opposite side. The Icy Wind nearly takes us out, but it is not enough, and Needle Arm almost brings the Floatzel down here as well. I'm a little stuck because I don't want to lose a Pokemon at this stage, but Floatzel is pretty powerful, so I knew that I could be in trouble unless I switched. Starmie comes in after another flip turn, and I switch from Angela into Karen. Karen takes a few hits and manages to land a Hex, which removes the Starmie. Next up comes in the Floatzel. Now, I don't think Karen is going to take an attack here, and like I said, I really don't want to lose a Pokemon, and it's all about which attack it's going to use. The Floatzel flip turns into Frogadier, who takes more damage from its burn, but the problem is both of these Pokemon have Ice-type moves, so I'm just not in a great position for Kevin. So after a bit of thinking with Michael in, I know we're at risk of taking a water attack here, and I don't think we can survive a crit. I'm not sure, but I don't think we can, and I just think Michael's going to be too important. So I go into Kevin, I get hit with a flip turn, which means the Floatzel comes back out. I'm not sure if I outspeed this or not, because I am pretty fast. Skiploom is a really fast Pokemon, but I just don't know. Anyway, I go into Karen, I get hit with an Icy Wind, which was a bad move, and I don't have Shadow Sneak yet, so unfortunately Karen goes down and is our first death of the run, which absolutely sucks, but there we go. Pam comes in and Shadow Sneaks our way to victory against the Floatzel and also against the Frogadier, and we finally have our first recorded badge and our second badge overall. Anyway, we go to a party on a boat, but they kind of suck, so we decide to leave and go and take on the third gym leader, Lieutenant Surge. Now, this is an absolute gem of a battle. We lead off with Angela, and he leads off with Pink Urchin. Now, I didn't have any use for Angela, to be perfectly honest with you. It was like the worst Pokemon we had. So I let it go down in order to play this annoying game called Get Rid of the Ockerberry. I also let Toby kind of take some damage here because we just really need to get through Surge. I'm pretty sure with the team I've got that I can get through. I can get a little bit further in this game once we get past Surge. So I power up Punch, he crits a Bug Buzz, but now I'm in a position to start landing Heat Crashes and doing some decent damage. Volt Switch does pretty good damage to me, but Pink Urchin doesn't weigh anything, so Heat Crash takes it out. Anyway, next up is the Raichu. Raichu goes for the Psyshock, so I switch into Karen number 2. Who takes it very, very well indeed. The Raichu Volt switches, goes into Vikavolt, who goes down to a Dragon Claw. Now the Raichu comes back in here, and it just really can't do too much damage to me. Psyshock is not doing enough, and finally we get rid of the Terrain, which is big news for us, like really big news, because now the electric attacks are not doing so much damage. I go for a Bulldoze here, Manectric Mega Evolves, hits a Volt Switch, doesn't do too much, and we nail the Raichu thanks to a critical hit. I think we would have done good damage anyway. Okay, now we're at -2, but this Manectric is just not doing enough damage to us to really trouble us, especially with Volt Switches, and we've got Bulldozes going on, so eventually we're going to be faster than it, although, my word, Druddigon is damn slow. Like, it is so slow. Anyway, we keep on Bulldozing, he keeps on Volt Switching, and eventually we take it out, and we have our third badge of the run. Whew. Anyway, next we go through this stupid tunnel, which I used to hate as a kid, and now is not so bad, and out onto Route 10, pick up some TMs and stuff, battle some trainers, blah 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 blah, all that good stuff, until eventually it is time for the next battle on our journey against Erica. So it's a good thing to point out at this stage. You can probably tell I'm not doing every single battle that there is and ever was, because there are so many boss battles in this that I really couldn't be bothered. So I've just done the gym battles and a couple of other ones which I think went kind of well. So yeah, Aaron took out the Superior. Next up comes out the Venusaur. Venusaur almost always goes for Sleep Powder unless it's into a grass type here. And thanks to the ability on Andy, who, by the way, is just the greatest Pokemon in the world, thanks to the Bulletproof ability, Sludge Bomb does not work, which means we're in a pretty decent spot here, especially once the Terrain goes and Giga Drain stops doing quite so much damage. So Venusaur keeps switching between Giga Drains and Earth Powers and the like, and we're able to start doing some damage with Aerial Ace. Aerial Ace does some really good chunks of damage until Venusaur is really, really low health. At this stage, I'm a little bit, I'm not in the greatest position, but I can try and bait like an Earth Power or something into a Flying Pokemon, or I can try and bait a Grass attack into a Poison Pokemon. I go for the latter. and thankfully Phyllis doesn't take too much damage and is able to take out the Venusaur with an air cutter. Whew, and breathe. Next up is the Meganium. In this game, Meganium is grass and fairy type, which is really annoying because it means it can fire off like really decent power attacks. Thankfully though, we are able to kind of pivot our way around into Arbok here and deal with this Meganium once and for all. Next up is the Sudowoodo. Now Sudowoodo in this game is grass and rock type, which is very, very annoying. I go for a Coil, knowing this thing is going to go for a Wood Hammer because it thinks I'm in range. Coil obviously boosting my defense puts me out of range. However, I also do realise that there's no way I'm going to deal enough damage to this thing. So Sylvia comes in. Now she takes a Wood Hammer pretty damn well and goes for an Avalanche in return, but because we weren't hit by the Sudowoodo, it doesn't do much damage. Head Smash comes out, does not take us out. Avalanche takes out the Sudowoodo, and next up comes the Rillaboom. I switch into Phyllis. The Grassy guy does not do enough damage, and nor does the U-turn, and the Bug Buzz takes it out, and we're all done with badge number 4, which feels pretty damn good. Whew. Next up is Giovanni. Now, I'll be honest with you, at this stage, I was looking at my Pokemon that I got, and honestly, even at this point in the run, I'm thinking, I think I'm done here. I don't think I can do this, but there we go. We go for a Bulldoze, and I know that once we're faster than Nidoking, he's going to switch. So I go into Karen number 2 and try and roost my way out of any critical hits from the Honchkrow. Unfortunately, crits first turn. But the Rough Skin damage and a Dragon Claw take it out. Now, next up is Kangaskhan. It's always going to go for a Fake Out or a Power Up Punch here. So I switch into Pam. Pam does not take any damage from the Fake Out. I know it's going to go for a Crunch, so I switch into Aaron. You can kind of see where I'm going with this. Anyway, after a long time of this BS going on, eventually he has to switch out the Kangaskhan because he's not doing any damage, so I switch back into Aaron and I start getting coils up. Now, the Inferno always goes for a Swords Dart, so I managed to nail it with a Poison Fang and a Sucker Punch, and it goes down. Last up is this Kangaskhan once again, and there's no need to get clever with this right now. The Kangaskhan is burned thanks to the Shuppet, so yeah, we're really not in any danger whatsoever. We take out the Rotom, and finally it's just a matter of dealing with the Kangaskhan once again. It's still burned, it can like power up punch as much as it wants, but it's not going to do enough damage to us after a couple of coils. So we go for a Poison Fang and then a Sucker Punch, and that is enough to remove the Kangaskhan. And now we don't have to battle Giovanni again until now. So here we are, we're battling Giovanni again. We lost 2 Pokemon on the battle before this. A really hard one where you team up with Brandon and because he sucks. But yeah, we managed to get through. And Josh leads off, manages to get up the rain, nails it with the Muddy Water. Poltergeist comes in, this thing goes for a Giga Drain and resets its, gives it back some health. We go for a Sucker Punch, knock the thing out. Next up is Excadrill. Oh, breathe. God, this is so tiring doing this. You know, like people always say you should script these things, but I don't know. I like trying to do it in one take, and it always feels like it's more fun and more genuine and more honest and more cool. But Jesus, it takes your breath away. Anywho, Excadrill is out. Andy is out. Excadrill Sword Stances. We bulk up. That should just put us out of range of any real danger, and we can go for a Horn Leech and recover. I did more damage than I thought, but luckily we were able to just about do enough to this Excadrill to kind of get some health back. Anyway, I go for another Horn Leech, and it's unable to take us out. Next up is Kangaskhan, and oh boy, I bet you can't guess what we're going to do to Kangaskhan, can you? Oh yes we are, we're going to do it again. Anyway, to save you all the details, I skipped all the boring bit where we switch and switch and burn and switch and switch and switch and burn and switch. Now we go into Karen, and the Kangaskhan's ability works against it, and we managed to take it out with the Dragon Claw. Finally is Garchomp. Obviously I'm not going to leave Karen 2 in against Garchomp. It goes for an Earthquake, does not do enough damage to us. I go for a Recover because the Garchomp always Swords Dances when it doesn't know when it knows that it can't be taken out in one shot. But obviously an Avalanche after we take damage is enough to take out the Garchomp, and we have beaten Giovanni again. Sabrina. Nah, this battle did not go quite so well as some of the others. It's hard. Like it's hard once you get past Giovanni. I find it hard to plan battles if you don't have a really powerful team. We're going to take out the Hatterini first turn, which is good because it means we're not going to be stuck in any like Trick Room mind games. However, I don't know why I did this, but I lost Aaron and I lost Sylvia in the second turn of this battle. But it kind of sucked. But it did mean that we were able to do okay for the rest of it, which is, I guess, is a good thing. Sparkles goes for a lunge and takes out the Indeedee, and then next up Phyllis goes for a Bug Buzz and takes out the Crawdon. Conkeldurr comes out and so does Porygon too. Well, I know Porygon is going to be going for a Trick Room here, but I also know that the final Pokemon in the back is the Mega Gardevoir. So I focus down the Conkeldurr, take it out, let the Porygon set up the Trick Room, so Gardevoir comes out and is all super fast and stuff, and we're going to be nice and super slow. So Gardevoir Mega Evolves, Porygon goes for an Ice Beam, there's no freeze, so the Bug Buzz plus the Play Rough takes out the Gardevoir, and boom, we're in the game. Now it's just Porygon. Now I go for a Quiver Dance here. I know it's going to make us faster, but we're already slower / faster than the Porygon anyway. And in the hope it didn't target us, we could then hit it really hard. It did target us, however, which is when I decided to go into Dwight, and I healed up on Sparkle, so that meant that either way, like whichever thing Porygon targeted, we were going to be safe. Sparkle goes for a Play Rough, does like no damage. Luckily I taught Dwight Brick Break, which obviously you always do going into a Psychic Gym. Luckily I've played this game before. So the terrain ends and Trick Room eventually ends, and we're able to take out the Porygon, and we have Sabrina's badge. Honestly, sometimes this game is exhausting, and like at this point I've been playing this run over probably like 2 weeks, and I've forgotten which Pokemon I had sometimes, and yeah, so I took a break after Sabrina because I was really upset about losing the Arbok. Honestly, like Arbok was so good, but eventually I carried on playing, went and picked up the TM for Surf, went and picked up some Gold Teeth, and decided I would take on Koga. Koga's normally a better battle, and I had a really trash Hariyama, so I decided that what might be a really decent way to do this is to use the Hariyama to just try and take out some of the big threats. So this is exactly what I did. I bulldozed the Quillfish after a U-turn. Then the Excelgor almost always U-turns, and it goes into Greninja here, and I managed to pick up the Greninja, which is really awesome. I wasn't necessarily expecting that, so that was really good. Then the Excelgor comes back out again, it Sludge Bombs us, and it doesn't take us out, so we're able to land a close combat on the Excelgor, which is actually huge, because it puts it in range of, well, it puts it in range of Sucker Punch, and means I can take out the Toxic Spikes, which is really great. Drapion comes out, this thing is Choice Scarf, goes for a Wicked Blow into Karen, I get a little bit of Rough Skin chip on it, and then I go into Michael, and I'm just above halfway. I don't know why the thing changed there, because we do manage to survive. Unfortunately, Michael goes down here, but I am able to take out the Drapion. So yeah, not a great gym for me, if I'm honest with you. Yeah, it was not easy. Anyway, Hank comes out, Sucker Punches the Dragapult, and it KOs itself to Life Orb damage. Finally, the last thing out here is the Toxtricity. I go into Josh expecting the Electric Attack. The Electric Attack does come, and now the Boom Burst is not going to take us out. We go for the Bulldoze, and it's down. We have another badge, and we're feeling good. We are feeling really good. And also, because my Illumise is really fast, we're able to get a Toxtricity, whatever it's called. But most importantly, we get the Life Orb. Now, here's the team. We're looking alright. We're doing okay, and we go for a little surf. Why not? You know. It's fun to surf sometimes. We surf our way down and down and down, and we go into an old mansion, we pick up a key. And that's nice, and we pick up a TM, and then we leave the mansion, and we do a quiz, and then the quiz is very nice, and the repel wears off, and then we fight a Baldman. Hello, Baldman. Whew, okay, so we lead up for Josh, go for a Rain Dance. Stealth Rock comes in. This battle took a lot of turns, and a lot of switching, and a lot of annoyance. Venusaur comes in, it gets his defense lowered. Very lucky indeed. Now, unfortunately, midway through this battle, I ran out of space on my computer, and so I had to I didn't realise until literally right near the end, and unfortunately, I missed what happened. But we lost a couple of Pokemon. We lost Ursaring and someone else. I can't remember quite who else we lost, but yeah, again, not a clean battle. Yeah, not great. Anywho, we finally had most of the badges, and finally, this is actually the furthest I've ever made it on this game, by the way, so I didn't really know what to expect next. So yeah, anyway, Brandon comes up, takes us off here, we defeat the admins of Team Rocket, and then you team up with Lance, and you take out the Mewtwo. Now again, I actually lost 2 Pokemon doing this, but they're Pokemon that you're never ever going to meet, because I literally, I picked them for this fight against the Mewtwo, and literally they didn't do anything. It's a shame. Like, I wish I could have showed you every single Pokemon that we caught, and every single Pokemon that died, but there was just no point, because there were so many that I used once, they died, and then you never saw them again. And this video is already going to be like half an hour long, and I'm not in the business of doing an hour long video. I can't be bothered to do that. You don't want to watch through it, so yeah. Anyway, here was some dialogue on the screen while I explained all of that to you. Okay, fought our rival one more time, picked up a Mega Zone that we don't need, and we headed for the Pokemon League. Now, The Pokemon League, the victory road in this game is genuinely really hard, and I lost a couple more Pokemon on this victory road because everyone's got friggin' Mega Evolutions and all that jazz, and you got to fight your rival just before. It's pretty tough, but once you get out the other side, it's oh my god! If you're not prepared for this battle, you're definitely going to lose. I was so lucky. I figured there was going to be a boss fight, but I didn't know what it was going to be, and it turns out it's the game's creator, and he leads off with the Gigalith. And so I switched into Pam. I was going to try and burn it, and it goes for an explosion. And then after the Gigalith, he's got 5 friggin' Shedinjas. And luckily, I was already switched into Pam, so I could go for the Shadow Sneak. But he sets up his own sand. So I guess the idea of the battle is it's just a bit of fun before you get into the Elite Four. But you could definitely lose some Pokemon doing it. I don't know what moves the Shedinjas go for because obviously I didn't let them. But yeah, pretty fun like addition to the game. I think it was a really cool little thing. So there we go. Anyway, done. You go into the Pokemon League. There's some quite cool dialogue throughout this game. Like honestly, I know I've said it before. I know people like the Kaizo games and like Renegade Platinum was good. But I really like Radical Red. I genuinely think it's so much fun to play. And I'm considering doing like just a playthrough, non-Nuzlocke playthrough of this. So if you want me to do that, like maybe I'll do a monotype playthrough. We'll see. Anyway, Lorelei, double battle. Gives me starts me off with the rain with the Politoed, which means I lead with PT and Cruiser, which is kind of fitting that they led off together. Cruiser's really fast because of the Swift Swim ability, and we get a flinch at the start, which is really lucky. Now, we take out the Poliwrath, and the Politoed flinches second turn, which again is like, it's really useful. And I'm able to now pivot around using the Volt Switch. Whilst I have a think about it, I go into Josh. Now, she brings out the stupid, like, Kyogre, whatever it's called, the friggin' Big Daddy Kyogre. And we go for an Air Slash and an Earthquake, hoping it goes for a Water Spout. It does, which means we don't take too much damage, but the Scald burns us, which is kind of sucky. Anyway, these, like, turns here, honest to God, these are so lucky. Like, this is what I mean. This is why it was the little Nuzlocke that could. Look at this team. This is not an Elite Four winning team. But we managed to pull off. We can't KO the Kyogre, which is awesome. The Politoed goes for a Scald. We don't get burned this time. Now, thanks to Mega Evolution, and thanks to Burnett's Mega Evolution, I get the ability Prankster. This little tiny Burnett that we caught just outside of Pallet Town turns out to be quite the monster. So, Mega Evolves. We burn the Dracovish, which also means not only is it burned, but it moves second, so Vicious Rend doesn't do as much. It even crits, which is so annoying. But we're still going here. Switch into Andy, go for a Protect. We get Scalded, but Dracovish's attack doesn't do any damage. We Spiky Shield. Vicious Rend means Dracovish loses a bit more health. We go for an Earthquake, which means we're able to take them both out. Whew! 4 Pokemon down, 2 to go. Can we do it? Can we beat the first Elite Four member in a double battle without losing any Pokemon? I'm glad I did a quick look before, by the way, to find out it's a double battle so I could put Protect on everything, because otherwise it would have been really hard. Anyway, Josh protects. We get lucky with the attacks that mean that Josh doesn't go down. We Horn Leech the Swampert and it dies, which is absolutely perfect because it's just the Kingdra left, and as long as we're able to play around the Kingdra's BS, we're going to be just okay. What I didn't know at this stage, by the way, is that the Kingdra actually has a Hurricane, and it could have taken out Andy at any stage. Thankfully, it didn't do that because because if it did, we'd have been in real trouble. But if for some reason it didn't go for the Hurricane, it kept going for the Muddy Waters. So yeah, pretty lucky. Go for a Spiky Shield, Sucker Punch, and we're done. We have beaten the first member of the Elite Four with a Skuntank and whatever this thing's called. I don't remember what this stupid thing's called, and like a Burnett and some other kind of trash. And here we go. Time to take on Bruno. Bruno leads off with Urshifu because he's VGC mad. We Ice Beam, and here's the funny thing. I didn't mean to Ice Beam. I wanted to Air Slash and the Ice Beam and freeze the Urshifu. I switch into Andy, and I think, well, hey, why the hell not? I'm going to start bulking up. So I bulk up again, and that's it. Finally defrosts, U-turns into Scizor, and now I'm at +3 and +3, I think. So it goes into the Zacian, we Horn Leech it, it does a good amount of damage. Go for another Horn Leech, doing some more damage, and I'm at full health. So even though this thing is at +2, it goes for a Behemoth Bash, and obviously it's going to eventually land one. It's a mistake to spike his shield there, by the way, because it gets rid of some of his health, but we're able to survive and take out Zacian with grass moves. Scizor comes back in, U-turns again, goes into Lucario, and we're just able to keep smashing these Horn Leeches. Like, it is not fair. What I didn't realise at this stage is I had the TM for Drain Punch, and I really could have just taught him Drain Punch instead, and we would have done loads more damage, and we wouldn't have had any of these issues, but whatever. Congeldar comes out, that takes damage too, and I am just steamrolling this guy. I'm trying not to run out of Horn Leeches, but at the same time I know I need to kind of just make sure I take these things out before they damage me. And we are just going through him right now, like we are just going through this guy. We Leech Seed the Urshifu, and again, like I don't want to take too much damage. But the thing is, what I don't understand is about my play here is why don't I just Horn Leech? If I'm going to spike his shield, I might as well Horn Leech, because I'm just losing out on health that comes back to me. But whatever, doesn't really matter. Urshifu goes down. He goes back into Scizor again. He bloody well U-turns again, because that's all he ever does. And this time he goes into Terrakion. Terrakion gets nailed by Andy, and we're literally just walking through this guy. Horn Leech doesn't KO, and now I'm out of Horn Leeches, so I'm going to spike his shield and Leech Seed my way to victory like a true hero. Like the true valiant hero that Andy is. And we're 2 Elite Four members down without losing a Pokemon. Next up, Agatha, who starts talking about how handsome Professor Oak is for some reason. She's a bit like, you know, I guess, hey, you know what? Old people deserve love too. So anyway, Poison Jab. Poison the Grimmsnarl. Somehow we're actually faster than the Grimmsnarl, and we take it out. Or it was going to go for some move that I don't really know about. But anyway, Hydreigon comes out. We poison the Hydreigon as well. At this point, I was just willing to sack Hank, I've got to be honest with you, because I didn't know how on earth we were going to get through this battle. But eventually we keep just doing okay. Like, we chip away at the Hydreigon, and yeah, we're doing alright. Switching to Cruiser, goes for a Dark Pulse, we take it because we're pretty specially bulky. And I just start firing off Ice Beams. We fire off an Ice Beam into this Gengar. And in hindsight, I probably could have just actually tried to go for the same strategy again, but I didn't. And we Ice Beam the Gengar down. And yeah, there we go. Next up is Marshadow. Now, here's an interesting thing about Marshadow. What I could have done before is set up on the Gengar and just try and deal with this Marshadow, because Andy does a pretty good job at like walling this. So it goes for a Bulk Up. We go for a Leech Seed. Which means that he goes for another Bulk Up and we go for a Bulk Up of our own. Which means we're just putting ourselves further and further out of harm's way. Goes for a Drain Punch. We're now at parity with the Bulk Ups, which means that he can't KO us unless he gets a big crit. He goes into Spectrier, who can't Shadow Ball us because of our ability, so it has to go for a Dark Pulse, which means unless we flinch, we're going to wipe this thing out, and we do, and now we're at full health. Why is Agatha so stupid? I don't know. Like, I still think she probably could have done the damage to us with Marshadow, but whatever. Anyway, I'm trying to like get some passive damage off on the Hydreigon here, because I figure it's going to have Flamethrower, so I'm just a bit scared of it, but also I don't, you know, I just want it gone. I take it out, it turns out it doesn't have Flamethrowers, it doesn't matter. Next up is this Dragapult, goes for Dragon Dance. We Horn Leech it, nearly do enough to KO, but not quite enough. Anyway, Dragon Dance comes out again. We get paralyzed a couple of times in a row, which sucks, and if we get paralyzed one more time we lose, but we don't. We Horn Leech the Dragapult, and finally it's just the Marshadow, which we know can't do enough damage to us. We Horn Leech this thing, it is dead. We've done 3 Elite Four members without losing a Pokemon. This is absurd. Now, obviously, can we keep the run going against Lance? I don't know. Maybe this is where stuff starts going wrong. Maybe this is where it gets bad. We take out the Garchomp thanks to a couple of choice scarfed Ice Beams. He switches into Melmetal, and by this point, I've worked out that there's no one in the world that I can't beat by just pressing Bulk Up with Andy. And by this stage, I've also learned I have a TM for Drain Punch. So I smack the Melmetal, which has such a high HP stat that we get loads of health back. And now I go for another Bulk Up. He goes into Dragonite here, but thankfully we are at such a high level of Bulk Ups that he can't KO us with a dual Wing Beat, or at least he doesn't see the KO. Unfortunately, we missed a Leech Seed. If we hadn't missed a Leech Seed there, then I genuinely think that this would have been the easiest run. He misses a dual Wing Beat. We go for another Bulk Up, which means that we're looking in pretty decent shape. And we're now nearly at full health. He goes into his Dracozolt, and that thing just gets absolutely wiped out. He comes back into his Dragonite again. I'm pretty sure I can take a dual Wing Beat at this stage. I'm not convinced, but I think I can. Anyway, he does some damage into our spiky shield again. I don't know why I'm spiky shielding, to be perfectly honest with you, because I'm just losing out on health. I'm going to get back, but whatever. Next up, he goes into Dialga. Now, Dialga has got Flamethrower, which means that our kind of little fun party here is over. I go into Pam, and at this stage, I know I'm not getting out of this without losing a Pokemon. I Rain Dance. We do survive, so I figure I'm going to try and save Pam for now. Going to Josh. Josh takes a Flamethrower pretty well, goes for an Earthquake, but this Dialga is like fully bulk invested, so Earthquake does not do enough damage. I go into Hank, go for some Sucker Punches. We get Roared of Time a few times, and go for Ice Beams, we get Roared of Timed again, and then we go for Earthquakes, and yeah, at this stage I know someone's not making it. It's, yeah, it sucks. I really, really wanted this to be the run. I Protect, hoping maybe like it runs out of Roared of Time, but it does not. And oh, bye Josh. Thank you for everything, buddy. You've been amazing. But our fight had to carry on. So in came Cruiser, Ice Beam Dialga, got Roared of Timed, and then out came Pam, who was able to Shadow Sneak and take the Dialga down. So there was 2 Pokemon left on his side. One of these was Melmetal, and unfortunately, I didn't have a switch in. So I popped up the Rain so that eventually Cruiser could outspeed the Salamence. I went into PT, went for the Thunderbolt, took out the Melmetal, and I just had to hope and pray that Salamence would go for an Earthquake. I switched into Cruiser, and he did go for an Earthquake, which meant that we were able to outspeed the Salamence, nail it with an Ice Beam, and we got past Lance. We got 2 deaths, and we're not in brilliant shape for the champion, but we were there, and we were going to give this thing a go. So he leads off with Pheromosa, and I lead off with Andy. I go for the Spiky Shield because the Pheromosa is Focus Sash. I know it's going to U-turn, so I go for the Leech Seed. He goes into the Yveltal, and obviously Andy can't stay in against this thing. I go for a Spiky Shield just to try and scatter out for what it's going to go for and get some Leech Seed chip. And I switch into PT. PT takes way over half from the Oblivion Wing, but the Leech Seed, the Yveltal's HP is so high, the Leech Seed is giving me loads and loads of health back. I Volt Switch, hoping that he's going to go for the Heat Wave again. Unfortunately, he goes for the Dark Hole, which does quite a lot of damage to Cruiser, which is not great, but we're able to Ice Beam and freeze the Yveltal. Another freeze. And take this thing out. Next up comes Metagross. So we're actually going okay here. Like, you know, this could have gone way, way worse. And the Metagross comes in. It pretty much only has the option of going for a Psychic move, but I didn't think of that at the time, and unfortunately it misses the Zen Headbutt. I realised that that's what it's going to be going for now, so I switch into Hank and I go for a Sucker Punch. Now, I crit and take out the Metagross, so we're actually a couple of Pokemon deep now, but Pheromosa comes out, and Pheromosa outspeeds everything, and it hits like an absolute truck. Sucker Punch is able to bring it below half, and Aftermath brings it to really, really low HP, but unfortunately Hank goes down. I go into Andy here, go for a Spiky Shield, and then it doesn't quite take out the Pheromosa. I know Pheromosa can't KO me from here, but it still does so much damage that it just, yeah, it's no good. I bulk up. Unfortunately, I should not have gone for the bulk up. I should have gone for a Leech Seed or a Horn Leech or something, but at this stage, it's game over. We can't beat this Groudon. I don't think we could have ever beaten the Groudon because of its ability, but now we are definitely not going to be able to beat it. And yeah, this was the end of the run. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. These bunch of like ragtag Pokemon that somehow made it to the champion of Radical Red. It was a whole lot of fun. Please don't spoil it in the comments for anybody else. And thank you so much for watching. And keep an eye on the channel. We've got some cool stuff coming up. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.